Hello everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to an episode of Star Trek Online. You know, this is just kind of a supplemental episode. We're not going to do any deep dives on any crazy builds that I've got, but we're going to talk about this little ship that you see right here on screen, the Miranda class. Now, this one in particular is mine, called the USS Bonterre, and we're going to use it for this particular video because this has been one that's been a long time in coming. And what this is about is how there are many content creators out there that do a lot of Star Trek lore, and most of them, I would say a vast majority of them, are super knowledgeable. They're extremely, smart when it comes to Star Trek lore. Now, that being said, they do have a very heavy working knowledge of Star Trek lore. However, when it comes to certain real world things, they don't have a clue, so it doesn't translate very well, because no matter how you slice it, Gene Roddenberry's creation, Star Trek, will always have most of its body inside fiction, but a few toes in reality. And we can thank Gene Roddenberry for that, because he was very adamant about using Star Trek as a platform to kind of say what he felt needed to be said. Kind of like some of us do here on YouTube, but different but the same, I guess you could say. But anyhow, now the Miranda class has kind of like another class that's almost identical, called the Soyuz class. Now, we know the Soyuz class is made by Starfleet, whereas the Miranda class is made by a company called the Yoyodyne Systems. Now, all that now being said, we've kind of got a layout of where we're going to be going with this. Now, where the other content creators go wrong is, why are there two different versions of the same ship? Why don't they call, why aren't they both Miranda classes? And, very importantly, why does the Miranda class need to be made by a civilian company called the Yoyodyne Systems? It didn't make any sense. The one in particular that I'm kind of going over with, there's a guy called Lore Reloaded. He did a video some years back about a full breakdown of the Miranda class, and he actually goes into that, but then he did not understand why, if there's the Soyuz class and it's pretty much a Miranda class, why are they both not called Miranda classes or Soyuz classes, and why is the Miranda, he didn't understand. So we're going to go over this, okay? And plain and simple, the Miranda class, yes, is made by the Yo-Yo Systems, and the Soyuz is made by the Federation. And this is where it's important. It's just like when you look at General Motors, their trucks. I'm a huge fan of the 1980s Chevy, the Chevy Blazer. But in the same breath, if I say that I'm a huge fan of the Chevy Blazer, I also have to say I'm a huge fan of the GMC Jimmy. Because even though they're named differently, they're made by two different sections of General Motors, they're the same vehicle. So, using that real-world knowledge, this is why. The same ship has two different names made by two different branches of the same organization. You have a civilian organization making stuff for Starfleet and other factions. We'll get to that in a moment. It's the same ship, but it's branded differently. Okay? So, now that we kind of have that, the Yo-Yo system makes the civilian version of this ship, whereas the Soyuz is Federation. Now, the part that, again, Lore Reloaded did not understand, well, why do we need the Yo-Yo systems to make the Miranda class? Shouldn't it just all be made by Starfleet? Not exactly in this case. Starfleet is run by the United Federation of Planets, okay? And the Federation is always about bringing in new planets to the Federation. We know this. We see it at first contact with, this planet and blah, 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 and the Prime Directive and everything. Okay, fine, we get it. Say you've got a warp-capable planet, but they're actually at war with a planet system that is hostile towards you, the Federation. Now we have an issue. We could just send them weapons, but that would cause kind of like a diplomatic issue. So what do? Well, a civilian company can easily sell, lend, or even give weapons with the Federation, the United Federation of Planets government paying back the Yo-Yo Systems company, can easily pay them and the whole time that they're doing this, they're using Federation tech. What's going on here? Sold to them by a civilian company. There's nothing we can do about it. They can sell to whoever we want. It's a free market. And the Federation can keep their hands clean even though they're doing something dirty. And we see this all the time. World War II was a great example, the Lend-Lease Act. The Lend-Lease Act. As a matter of fact, even today, we're starting to see that Lend-Lease Act kind of come back and bite us in the butt. During the Russo-Ukraine War, a great example of this is they've actually seen, on the Russian side, Tommy guns show up, and that's left over from the Lend-Lease program of World War II. Those guns just stayed in storage, and they're actually dragging them out and using them. Tanker crews used the Tommy gun in Russia, and they didn't have the ammo, so they just stored them away. But now, they've got the guns, so they just break them out of storage. And that's really, in this case, Yo-Yo Systems is there, so they can kind of do the same thing. I know, again, it sounds like, well, the Federation is a little dirty and underhanded, wouldn't you say? Not exactly. Again, real-life governments do it all the time, and, this is no different. This is really no different. Again, a couple of toes in the real world. So that's why the Yo-Yo Systems exist, and that's why we have the same ship under two different names. And so, again, if any of you watched Lore Reloaded's Miranda class breakdown, and it's like, I've reached out and asked him if I could do the video. He never responded, so I figured it was okay. So, and I'm not saying anything bad about Lore Reloaded. I think he does great content. Some of his stuff, I kind of scratch my head on. A lot of it, I do enjoy, like his breakdowns of different battles and things like that. I find it fascinating. And let's just face facts. I'm a Trekkie. I'm just not as involved with Star Trek as some are, but even though they are, they won't understand what I understand. So I guess we met in the middle of the road on this one. Alrighty. So I hope all of you enjoyed this particular video. It's been a long time in the making. I've been kind of messing with it for a little while. Off and on for probably a couple of years I've been meaning to do this video, and just now I felt that it was time, I was ready, I could do this video and do it justice, and I hope that I did. I hope I did this topic well. But that does bring us to the point where I get to remind all of you, get on over to Patreon, okay? $1 a month grants you access to Cinnamon's Discords, and all proceeds go back into the Project Cars, because that's what this channel does primarily, is cars and romance. That's what we enjoy doing. Along with that, get on over to Teespring. All merchandise over there, anything you purchase goes right back into the Project Cars. Again, you guys are the ones that are helping make awesome things happen on this channel. Alrighty. And now we're at the point where I get to say to all of you, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for every last one of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
You hear me? Wrong. This is wrong, man. Wrong, man. Wrong. My brains are.